Hello students, welcome to another class 6 mathematics lesson. Today's lesson will be on data handling part 2 bar graphs. You've been receiving data plans for the bar graphs, so I hope you've been accustomed to it. In class 5 you did do a bit of bar graphs, but in this case in our class we'll do it afresh and we'll do it a lot more of it. Now a bar graph is also the form of a pictograph, but it's a bit different and it's a bit easier also. Let's see what are the important criteria and how to construct a bar graph. And the first thing before we start this chapter, make sure that you have a sharpened pencil, a ruler and a rough exercise book open in front of you so that you may simultaneously do the problem and solve with me. Okay? Now the first thing, what is a bar graph? You've probably read in your lesson plans. What is a bar graph? A bar graph is a rectangular column or a set of rectangular columns representing a certain data. So the first requirement for a bar graph is tabulated data. The first requirement is tabulated data. What is the second requirement? The second requirement would be drawing two perpendicular lines. How to draw two perpendicular lines, what to do, I'll explain. Just hold on. And the third part would be drawing a scale. Now what is a scale? I'm keeping a question mark because we are not quite aware of what a scale is. Once I complete the chapter, you will be more aware of it. Okay? But for now, we keep a question mark and we'll come back to it as I draw the bar. So we need a problem for it. So therefore a question would be, say a student receives the following marks which we have to represent in the form of a bar. Say subject and marks. Say the first subject is English, the second subject is history, and the third subject is math. In English, the student has received 70. In history, the student has received 90. And in math, the student has received 80. Simple marks. So we have to represent this data into the form of a bar graph. So the first criteria is met. We already have a tabulated data. So the second criteria is drawing two perpendicular lines. We shall construct two perpendicular lines intersecting at the point O. This point O is called the origin and these two lines are labeled as, now are they correctly called lines? No, they are correctly called rays. But in this case, for the sake of the chapter, we are considering lines. So OX is a line and OY is another line, start meeting at the point O, where OX is denoted as and called at the x-axis and OY is denoted with OY and are called the y-axis. So these are the two perpendicular lines. Now what do these lines stand for? These two lines stand for the criteria of the conditions in the bar graph. That is, what are the two criteria in the bar graph required? One is the subject and one is the marks. So in this case, the non-numerical or the non-mathematical parts always go in the x-axis. So the subjects will go in the x-axis and the marks will go in the y-axis. Okay? Now comes the important part, scale. Obviously, whenever we are doing bar graphs, by the way, do you know that bar graphs are also called column graphs? Yes, you do know. Why? Because you've already been receiving these words in your lesson plans. So by this time, I hope you have gone through your lesson plans. I hope you have started reading the book. I hope you have started reading the examples in the book so as to be familiar. This will help you to get more familiar with the topic and hence practice faster. Coming back to the word scale. Now, we have to represent these numbers on this sheet. Now, since they are called bar graphs, you very well know that you should do them on a graph paper or a graph sheet. In your graph paper on the bottom side, you would find out such words written, a 2 millimeter division or 1 centimeter division, what does this stand for? What do they mean? These 2 millimeter or these 1 centimeter, 2 millimeter, they mean that each very small rectangular box, they stand for a 2 millimeter division or a 1 centimeter division. The scale is on how to choose to start from the starting of the number 0 to the maximum present here, how to include all of the numbers here. So from 0, say we are considering, say 1 centimeter equal to 10 marks. Okay, say 1 centimeter in case of a 2 millimeter division will be 5 small boxes, and in the case of a 1 centimeter division will be 1 small box. The very small boxes. So therefore we'll have say 10, we have 20, we have 30, we have 40, we have 50, we have 60, we have 70, we have 80, we have 90, we have 100. Now, the scale should be such that it should include the maximum here, starting from 0. Also, it should not exceed too much. That is, your graph, whatever you will be doing on your graph sheet, graph paper from henceforth, your graph or your work should occupy at least 3/4 of your graph paper. That is, it should not be like that your graph paper is say this board and your graph is located somewhere in the bottom right corner or the bottom left corner. No, you should make maximum use of the graph paper. That is what graphs are for. Coming back to the problem at hand, you can choose any scale you wish, but it should consider all of the numbers and it should make use of the maximum graph. Okay? So therefore, now how do we decide the subjects and how to write them? Make sure that the bars are evenly distributed as well as at even intervals from each other. That is, starting from 0, let us say count 10 spaces and place the first subject and then again go 10 places and end the first subject, which is English. Again go 10 spaces and start the second subject and again go 10 spaces and end the second subject, which is say history. Again go 10 spaces and start the third subject and again go 10 spaces and end the third subject, called math. Now, these areas will represent the blocks. How much will the blocks rise? According to the marks given. So the marks in the case of English is 70, so this block will correspond to 70. And this is the block of 70. In history, that is 90, so the block will correspond to 90. Yes, you are allowed to draw dotted lines, obviously with pencil, and there's nothing wrong in that. You can draw these dotted lines which will help you to understand where to end the bar. And math is 80, sad, not the highest. Right? You may choose to shade your graph, your bars, but even if you do choose to do that, first of all, it is not compulsory, it is not mandatory. If you do choose to do that, then it should be neat and clean and tidy. Untidy bar graphs, untidy mathematics won't be entertained. Shade it like this. Use single pen throughs and come back. That's it. Our graph is ready, our graph is done. This is how to draw a bar graph. In your book, you will come across more examples. I have provided more examples in the lesson plans. So therefore, you will go through those lesson plans, you will go through your book, you will rewind this video and watch it again and again so as to understand the different concepts and how to do it. And I hope you'll get better at it very soon. Till then, till the time we meet, till the time school reopens and session resumes, stay safe. I hope you're practicing hygienic methods. Practice mathematics at home. Thank you, students.